Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT, he'll punch you in the throat. This goes out to all you, as we call him on the show, Hubert owners, you know who you are. You started him in week 7, and you got the W. He's a go-forward must-start. If you didn't know, congratulations, all of you Hubert fans out there. I've got your Week 8 buys and sells on my screen right here. We're going to break them all down right now. Intro. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Look at all the wonderful topics we have on our screen. Let's kick it off with a buy low opportunity in Josh Allen heading into week 8 and beyond. Everyone's going to freak out about Josh Allen having 300 yards and no touchdowns, but people forget very quickly that if you take weeks 1 through 6, extrapolate that touchdown production across 16 games, Allen's on pace for 40 plus TDs if you look at just weeks 1 through 6. Buy low. Don't buy in that this guy turned back into a normal human being. Buy him now. He's a top 6 quarterback moving forward. Derrick Henry's another good buy low heading into week 8 and beyond because A, he's already at a bye. B, I don't care what he did this week. I know what he's capable of doing. And he ended up finishing with a decent line, but wasn't going anywhere early on, and kind of worked himself into these numbers at the end of the game. Ended up with a decent game. I don't know that you'll buy him super low, but you might have owners potentially looking to make a move, and if you can offer 2 well-playing players maybe that you think will tail off, for a Derrick Henry, you might get him a tad cheaper, or at least he becomes tradable coming off of this kind of game. Odell Beckham Jr., probably, if I had to guess, done for the year. A pretty bad knee injury according to early reports. I'll have more for you later in the week, and I'm sure you'll hear probably by the morning, if not late tonight, that this guy might be done for the year. Did I not tell you about DJ Moore? 2 TDs, not 1, 2. And we talked about it last week. DJ Moore, go get him now. I think he returns to some wide receiver, high-end wide receiver 2 relevancy really soon here. Buy window closed. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Buy window is closed. People were freaking out after a bad game last week. And Davante Adams, I can't tell you how many messages I got through sleeperu.com and heysmitty.com. What's happening with Adams, Smitty? You won't get him dirt cheap, but go buy Adams as low as you can. I can't tell you how many people are asking me on heysmitty.com and sleeperu.com, what's wrong with Adams? Is he going to be okay? And the amount of volume of emails I'm getting makes me think that people might deal him way too low, so take a stab. Is something wrong with him? Should I trade him? Will he bounce back off of one bad game? This is what Adams does. Look at 196 and 2 TDs. A-Rod, 283 and 4. And you know what's funny? Is how many messages I got on this A-Rod. I told some people to start Tom Brady, instead of A-Rod. And after this game, they're like, I can't believe you told me to bench A-Rod for Brady. Brady hadn't played yet. And Brady gets 369, 4 TDs, and I believe a rushing touchdown as well. 369, he ends up outscoring A-Rod. So get off my back in the morning games, bro. Time to buy low on Mike Evans. I know everybody's going to say, well, he looks awful. He's going to go away. He's going to vanish because AB's there. Let me tell you something. You don't score 6 TDs in the first 6 games and not have a role when AB gets back. Now, there could be some kind of underlying injury they're not talking about. Now, that happens all the time. We can't control that. But what I will tell you is that I'll buy low at the price tag he probably has right now over his head. He's probably getting traded at 3rd round equivalent value or later because people are freaking out. Maybe even later than that. Go poke around. Try and combine 2 players for 1 Evans. When you do that, you can oftentimes buy a player lower because you're giving 2 options for that owner to kind of digest. They're saying, oh, if it's 1 for 1, no, I like Evans. He has so much upside. I'm putting it all on 1 player when you offer that 1 player to me. But when you give them 2 players, it messes with their mind and they go, well, he could be better than Evans. He could be better than Evans. Okay, take Evans off my hands, and then you've got a guy that has 10, 12 TD potential on the year in your lineup or on your bench until you're ready to use him. I don't know what's going on. We might find out tomorrow that Evans is playing with some injury we don't know about, but he didn't look healthy, but that doesn't mean he can't get healthy, and that doesn't mean he won't be healthy. Evans is a beast, and I buy low. What did I tell you about A.J. Brown? 153-1, and he looks like a monster. He looks like a spatial dominator. Anything around him just gets smashed up, and he just dominates. Every single square inch around him. And I think top 10 wide receiver numbers moving forward. I called him 5 to 7 overall heading into the season. He got banged up. The knee obviously looks fine. And I put a poll up on my IG. You can follow me on IG at the.fantasyfootballshow. And it was like 90% vote for yes in favor of, is A.J. Brown a top 10 wide receiver? Go forward. It was like 90% yeah. You guys agree. We all agree.
We're excited.
If I'm going to pat myself on the back, I have to make myself take a lap. Diontae, I yelled at a lot of people on my live last night when they came to me and said, should I sit big name player for Diontae Johnson? Should I sit so-and-so for Diontae Johnson? I said,
how are you debating this? Claypool's going crazy.
And there's so many mouths to feed. And then I followed that up, in all fairness, with, you know, he's going to go off now because I'm making such a big stink about it. And what does the dude do? 9 for 15, 15 targets for 80 and 2 touchdowns. I hope you started him. If not, I'm taking a lap.
Take a lap.
That's my bad. That's my bad, and I'm taking a lap for that one. If we're going to talk about my misses while we're there, let's just kind of dip right into it. Todd Gurley's been playing pretty well this year, but I do sell high. I still worry about him staying healthy on a full year. 63 and 2 TDs. I sell high on that in trying to get into either 2 players, use him to upgrade into a big monster player. If you want to do an upgrade into like a Kamara and buy low on Kamara, use Gurley and a player to buy him. I do that all day long. I don't bank on this kind of production out of Gurley, but he has been very solid. I give him credit through week 7. Like I said last week, why are you doubting this man, James Robinson? As I mentioned, buy low on J-Rob. You guys were on the live last night, a lot of you, and can you believe all of the, should I start so-and-so, so-and-so, and then they throw in James Robinson like he's in the flex conversation. Should I start this player?
Should I start McKinnon? Blah, blah, blah. And James Robinson.
And James Robinson belongs in your running back 1 conversation, not your flex conversation. This dude, you can't even get him anymore. Every time he pops off like this and has a 2 TD game or whatever, you can't trade for him. Everybody loves him at that point. The James Robinson room, the fan club room, was empty heading into this week. And now all of a sudden people are slipping in.
Slipping right into the room like you've been here the whole day.
DAndre Swift was a little bit disappointing. Started off hot, got a touchdown. We're like, oh my God, this is going to be a monster day. I got DMs and emails saying, Smitty, I can't believe I didn't trade for him. And then he kind of finishes with a mediocre effort. I don't know what to expect from him moving forward. I do know the Lions have a tough time grooming an elite running back. They haven't done it since Barry Sanders and a very, very short stint of Reggie Bush. Buy into Swift if you can at the right price, but I don't go expecting the world. Curb them expectations heading into week 8 and beyond with him, but he's got upside. DK Metcalf, buy low coming off of a very disappointing outing. He did have that touchdown called back. He made an amazing play where he chased down Baker running, I believe, 22 something miles per hour. He is a monster. I wouldn't look at this game as a down game at all. He did a lot of good things, and it just so happens that touchdown got called back. Go buy low. If people are thinking that Lockett, because he had a 3 TD game, and I told you to buy Lockett last week. Here's a guy a lot of people think I hate. I don't hate him. I go buy him low. I don't buy him at the value everybody inflates on draft day, but I come in and I swoop in and I buy him low like right now. If you didn't buy Lockett last week, you're not going to get him now, but DK you might be able to buy low because people are going to feel like, oh, well, just like Julio went off last week, maybe Julio's back. Maybe he is the number one there. People might be thinking that about Lockett. This is not his first 3 TD game. While we're on the topic of Ridley and Julio, Ridley still looking the part, 69 yards and a touchdown. Should have had another touchdown in this one, but I love Ridley as a top 5 wide receiver moving forward. Now, he might be attainable still if people aren't watching the games. They look at the stat line, they're like, this isn't quite the 150 yards I was used to in the beginning of the year. I'll sell him low, but you have to go after him in a package type deal to kind of make people forget how good he is, because you're, again, confusing them with multiple players that might make them think, I kind of like going in this direction, that direction. Don't make them ponder and look at Ridley and compare Ridley with one player, because they might go back to the fact that Ridley was there when they needed him at the beginning of the year. Make it confusing, make them look at multiple players at once, and that will help you get a trade done. Time to panic, I think, on this guy right here. Let's hit the red alert.
Red alert.
I don't know what to expect out of Zeke Elliott moving forward. I'm going to admit it. I thought that the injury to Dak wasn't like great for his efficiency, but it would lead the Cowboys in a direction of giving Zeke the ball more, which they weren't doing. They weren't giving him the ball enough with Dak healthy. So I thought maybe this would be not a blessing in disguise, but maybe an opportunity to get more volume, even if it was low efficiency or lesser efficiency because they didn't have a passing game to keep defenses honest. Well, I'll tell you, losing Dalton, they look awful. The defense is horrible. They're playing from behind all the time. Zeke's fumbling twice in one game and causing a turnover in this game. I don't know what to think. I would certainly toy around with buying low if I need a spark and I could get him cheap, but it all depends on the context, how your team looks, what you have to give up. So in the comments, tell me what you're going after, what you're giving up, what the situation is. Be short. Don't write a novel. I can't read a novel. I skip over novels. I don't read novels in my comments. But if you can give me a short description of what's going on, we can try and cater a Zeke trade around what you need. And if it doesn't work out, we'll move on to another player. I buy low at the right price. That's the point. Don't sell low, though. What did I tell you about Antonio getting 20 carries? We've been waiting for the day this guy gets more than 18 carries, and he finally got 20, 128 and 1 touchdown. I think they'll lean on him after getting this kind of production. They're going to be like, why not do it again? Rinse and repeat. If the intro wasn't grand enough for this topic here,
Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat.
Herbert looking like a top, 5 to 6 quarterback moving forward. I mean, 347, another touchdown on the ground, 3 touchdowns through the air. The dude is like reaching mini GOAT status, which is why we created this song right here. If you own him, play him. It's very simple. I don't even know if I tell you to trade him high. I think I just ride it out, man. This guy is on fire and he looks fantastic and the team is responding to him. It meshes well. Everything's working for Herbert, the man we call Hubert. Baker, maybe Maker. We don't know what to expect out of this guy on a weekly basis, but 5 touchdowns, he did fantastic. Odell probably done for the year. But man, I mean, Baker, I drafted him on accident in my 2 QB league because I timed out. I was trying to do a live stream during the draft. I timed out, got Baker in like the 7th or 8th round or something on a timeout. I was so mad. It was a super flex though, and he showed up today to work. I'll tell you that. But I don't know what to expect moving forward. Certainly not this, but maybe Baker is a top 10-ish quarterback at times when the matchup is right. Let's stick with the Browns players and talk about Mr. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt should be bought low. 18 carries for 76. He didn't do a ton of damage, but he looked okay at times. He definitely did. And I saw a lot of chatter on Twitter and all over the place where people are like,
bring back Chubb. When Chubb gets back, he's going to do great.
See,
Hunt's not that good.
Hunt looked good. He caught a receiving touchdown. He looked good. He was kind of scripted out of the game. And I think that if the Browns need to lean on the run, he will do very, very well. I don't think it has anything to do with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb won't do better than Hunt. Hunt is a better running back than Nick Chubb. At me, I dare you. I don't buy high, I buy low because Chubb is coming back. There is some risk to Hunt having top 5 to 10 running back value all year. There's risk involved. But if you can buy him low off this game, get him as a running back outside of the top 12 to 14, you're in the mix for getting a bunch of bang for your dollar. Stefon Diggs, go get him off of a mediocre performance where people are going to be like, oh, I guess he's back to being inconsistent. No, he's not. He has a quarterback now. He has a consistent quarterback option, and he is a baller, a wide receiver 1. This outing might make him a tiny bit cheaper. Josh, Jacob, Jingleheimer, Schmidt, go buy the man. 10 carries, 17 yards. I know you worry about his schedule, worry about his line, worry about his usage. I get it, and that's why you wouldn't draft him probably where you drafted him. But you can get him at a value that builds in risk for what we're seeing right here. That's the point. You're buying low, selling high. Stop telling me, hey, Smitty.
I know you like Jacobs. I saw your video on the YouTube, Smitty.
And you said you like Jacobs, but I don't know if I believe in him. I'm telling you to buy low. You're buying Jacobs with the risk baked in at this point. That's why I like him. I wouldn't go tell you to buy him at top 12 overall value. You don't have to buy him low. Buy him at a very low-end running back 2 level. And again, if you can't do that straight up, do a package deal that will lower his value into that low number 2 running back value. Clyde boy, Edwards-Helaire didn't have the biggest game. He did have the touchdown, but what people don't know, and you can blame this one on him though, he dropped a wide open touchdown toss from Patrick Mahomes. It was snowy weather. Let's cut the guy a break. It was a tough game. It was tough to get yardage in this game. He looked really good when they used him. They only ran him 8 times, so be fair to his stats right here. 8 times for 46 yards and a receiving TD, 17-yard reception. Put some respect on the man's name and buy low. This is a running back 1 you're looking at right here. Patty Mahomes, you're not going to steal him away from an owner off of one bad game, but try poking around. Maybe the Mahomes owner, to do your research, be a little detective out there. Take a look at that owner's team and figure out if they're losing it. They need to make a move. They might sell Patty Mahomes a tad bit cheaper coming off of this game. And like I've said, like a parrot over and over and over again, package deals tend to make players get sold at a lower value. And finally, the sad news that Drake may be done for the year, maybe not. Some say Achilles all over Twitter. Some say it's an ankle injury. Some say it's a bad ankle injury. Most people don't really know. We're guessing at this point, but let's assume he is done for the year. Edmonds steps in, and you should have cuffed the two anyway. He was a must-own for any Drake owner. And hopefully this puts a spark into that one slot, that draft slot that you dedicated with two players to fill. And maybe it ends up being a blessing in disguise for the owner that owns both. If you only own Drake, I don't know how to protect you in those situations when you don't own the super handcuff
that I beat like a dead horse in the offseason.
To cuff to these players. Lat Murray and Kamara. Chubb to your Kareem Hunt. Madison to Cook, and yeah, Madison's still worth owning. He's still a super handcuff. I know he did badly when it counted, but he's still an elite player. If you don't watch football, I can't help you. If you watch football, you know that Madison's been running tough and looks fantastic. It was a bad game. He got the start. He crapped the bed. He's still a must cuff. Tony Pollard needs to be cuffed to Zeke. Edmonds was a must own for Drake owners. And I'm pretty honest when I miss something. Like I admit, I totally whiffed on the Diontae Johnson this week. But I feel like Drake got a very bad shake. I don't know that I would blame this on him. Now, it is what it is, okay? We drafted him high. There's a lot of risk, and I admitted that, in all my content. Drake was a high-risk, high-reward player. He was either going to be a top 5 running back or outside the top 25 running backs. We knew that. I said that all offseason long. But he popped off last week. He looked good. We can't help that he got hurt. And I wouldn't even coin him as a big injury risk. But we'll find out what the status is tomorrow morning, maybe late tonight. But the odds are that Edmonds is going to get some starts moving forward. And if he falters kind of like Kelly has, everyone thought Joshua Kelly was going to take Eckler's job. He looked so good in week 1. And when the job was actually his, he didn't do what everybody expected. I'm not saying Edmonds will do that. I actually like Edmonds a lot. But if Drake is out a week or two and Edmonds doesn't do well, Drake could get the job back. But I think we're better off if Edmonds just gets all the work and we see what Edmonds has to show for. Benjamin isn't a bad handcuff. If Drake is out, make sure you cuff Edmonds to his handcuff. That does it for the week 8 buys and sells and reactions. And boy, what a crazy week we had in week 8. It was full of a lot of amazing outings like Brady and Rodgers and Adams and a whole bunch of other players. We hope to get Mike Thomas back soon in fantasy football land. We hope to get Christian McCaffrey back soon in fantasy football land. And you can bet I'll have more for you this week.
Subscribe, follow, tell your friends.
Let's go.
Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat.